What is up, guys? This is our first episode, our first vidcast. Thanks for joining us tonight. We've got my buddy Kevin here from the Improv shop. We got EJ Brooks, professional MMA fighter and wrestling coach at Cahokia High School. And we also have Michael Johnson, who is the co-owner of Slam Agency. That's the creative mind behind all their productive stuff. So, awesome to have you guys here. This is episode number 1. Thanks for coming down, guys.
Thank you.
So we got Kevin. We've got him. He's kind of like a comedian and does improv stuff up here. And you do this every week, correct?
Yeah, about every week, every other week here at the Improv shop. I got a team of crazy people. We just take a suggestion and go of anything at all and go on for 30 minutes.
So no script, just 100% free riffing. And you just roll on all types of comedic interludes, whatever, throwing stuff out there.
Whatever we like. 9 times out of 10 with my group, it boils down to sex or something. Like, we just talk about dicks on stage. Like, why not?
I feel like when there's pressure and like it's real, it's like the easiest thing to get to is like go to like the dick.
Oh.
Yeah? Go to the D.
You just go to the dick.
Just go to the D.
No. I mean, that's what it defaults to. When I would be terrified of doing improv because like I spend all my time in creative, like refining all these things so they're perfect before they come out.
Right.
I feel like it would be a skill that would be really good for me to practice, but it does terrify me.
See, that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
It's if I have a bad show, it's we don't record it or anything. It's gone. It's in space now. It's just the moment happened. It's done.
How long did it take you from when you first started?
Oh, God.
When you first started doing it?
Yeah.
To where, like, and I don't just mean where you started dabbling. I mean where you were doing it regularly. When you first started doing it regularly, to what? How long did it take till you didn't have any fear on stage?
Oh.
Do you still have it now?
I think you have to a little bit. I
would kind of hope that you would have fear on stage.
Yeah, I think you have to. And honestly, the shows where I'm like, yep, we'll be fine, suck. They suck because you don't have that fear. I mean, you're a fighter. I'm sure it's the same way. I've heard that a ton of times.
Yeah, the times that I've been super confident and thought I had it in the bag and was super relaxed, not saying I lost, but it definitely didn't go the way I thought it was. And the times that I was like most nervous and didn't know what was going to happen, things went great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got to have those butterflies in your stomach just to get it going.
Yeah,
the motivation.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people that can take that emotional level, you can take something that is a tough situation or whatever, you can switch it around, turn it around, and you can take that energy and turn it into something that's like an art right there. Yeah. I think that's something a lot of people don't have. They don't have that ability. When they start getting emotionally distraught, they like start to shut down. But then it's like, I think I used to be kind of that guy. Like if I would get upset, I would like start to shy away from things. And I think it's just something you've got to make yourself like train and change your head like again and again. And just to, when you start getting, like whenever I start getting that feeling, I try to, whatever it is, like look at it. If it's something worthwhile doing, and then if it's worthwhile and I'm still getting the feeling, like I do worst case, best case scenario. And then I just, whatever my decision is, I hammer into it.
Hey, go hard or go home.
No, for sure. Yeah, but for me, I just like doing. I like doing it every week. It's become like.
And what do you don't do it full time?
No,
correct?
I don't do it full time.
And what do you do full time?
I work in the tourism industry.
Okay.
Let's just say that. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it in general, but yeah, I work for St. Louis Tourism.
Awesome.
Here. Yeah.
Cool. And so you get to talk in front of people all day.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's got to be pretty natural.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty natural, and I actually started my job and this 6 years ago, both at around the same time.
Awesome.
So one helped the other, really.
Sweet.
But yeah, for me, it's
what's
just fun to
what's
do.
the craziest tour guy? The guy, not the craziest tour guide, the craziest tour guy, the craziest guy you've ever had on tour. Who is it? What happened?
Man.
Yeah, we've had. I think I'll be exposing where I work, but yeah, we've had people just freak out. You're just delivering information like here's a building, and then they're like, that's not a building. People get mad. People get like this is.
Yeah, what's the most mad someone's been over what?
Have you been
You
over
work at a Holocaust museum or something?
Okay, I was just saying I work at the
Okay.
Yeah,
that seems like a non-aggressive place to work.
It's not okay.
Is there an Underground Railroad there?
He's about to say it's not aggressive while he's telling us the story about this dude that freaked out.
But there's not the Underground Railroad there. Although there is a railroad that is underground, and people literally ask me if that is the Underground Railroad. I swear on my life that I'm like, no, that's not a real thing. Adults are asking me this. It'd be one thing if it was a kid.
It's real. I seen
it. That's the Underground Railroad.
I saw it in St. Louis.
But yeah, we've had people just get it's a family vacation
right.
gone wrong.
And
like, I had someone. There was one time he was so mad because we have these screens and a screen froze. 1 out of 7 screens froze, and it just so happened to be the one that he said he was looking at the entire time. And he said that this delayed his experience by a full hour.
Well. What kind of screen was it?
It just had the times on it. It
just
had, hey, your tour starts now and everything. But the thing that happened was the actual clock did not freeze.
Yeah.
The actual clock did not freeze, so it said like 4 o'clock, but it said now taking 3. Anyone in their right mind would be like, hold on, what's going on here?
What's going on these other 7 screens?
He claimed he just didn't see it, and he got really mad.
Like how mad? Like physical?
Red in the face, not like physical.
Not shaking?
Just really just... My family and I were here for an hour, and you were telling me, why didn't you do something? I'm like, I didn't know. Like, what's going on? And just very like, we didn't do this. And the button to this story is he was totally full of shit.
Yeah.
Because then
course.
I go, sir, let me help you out. Take you to the front of this line here. Can I get your ticket? Tore the ticket. I look at it. His time didn't even come up yet.
Right.
He was full of shit.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
People get angry.
Sure.
Just because it's family vacation, and we've all been on the bad family vacations we don't want to be on. That's kind of what it is.
For sure.
Yeah. Do people freak out in the arch?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a lady army crawl across the top because she didn't want to look out.
EJ, when you get into it with people, like people get pissed at you just being out or something, being a coach or whatever, like how do you feel like, someone being mad and starting to get in personal proximity to you, and then how do you feel about that? And then how do you react when you get that situation?
You're talking like just like being out in the club,
being out,
coaching
out of the
or
club,
something like that?
out coaching, whatever. I'm sure you have different reactions for different circumstances.
Yeah, different reactions for different circumstances.
So, all right, let's go with one. If you're just out at a wrestling match, some parent gets super irate. Not necessarily one of your kids' parents, just a parent. And super irate up in your face. Now, mind you, keep in mind, he's a wrestler, and this is a wrestling school. He is also a fighter, and you train out of SMMA, correct?
Yeah.
And but also a wrestler. So this isn't just some average dude. This might be a wrestling dad.
Honestly, those sound so bad saying this. Those are like some of my favorite moments.
Oh, yeah.
When the other parents get mad at you?
Oh, man, I love it. I mean, I guess I'm an agitator. I don't know. I might get it from my mom.
You get mad, you like it because you know your kid just whooped their ass?
But my kid either whooped their ass or just if you get bent out of shape over something small, and you want to come at me, I'm gonna blow that shit.
Like
up.
As an adult, and a kid's I'm
a grown ass man. Most time it's a mom.
Yeah,
you know, and it'll be some mom saying something like, "My kid is," and I'm like, "Your kid sucks." And my kid just beat his ass.
The worst.
Go get your husband, who's not saying anything because he knows who I am. He kind of wants you to sit down and shut the fuck up. But we gonna keep doing this until you start crying.
The worst moms in the wrestling sports, they're the ones that when their kids get beat, it's like you got this kid in this rough, tough sport, right? And they're trying to tough their kid up, right?
Yeah.
But then their kid starts getting roughed up, and then their moms just freak out, like screaming mad.
Dude, they can't handle it. Like me, I'm an agitator anyway.
Right.
Like my high school, we don't come from money.
Right.
Everything.
Which is what high school?
Cahokia High School.
Okay, Cahokia High School.
Everything we get, we earn.
Right.
And in every sport we have, we compete at a high level.
Right.
But the schools that beat us, they either recruit kids in, or they're the private schools that get to have the loaded rosters. And I'll call people out about that. But like we'll go to tournaments and I'll be facing a team and I'll see this guy. Like I'm not even gonna say this team's name. The whole roster's white, and then all of a sudden they got this ghetto black guy on their team, and I'm like, who's that? And then I find out from people like, his mom let him move with one of the coaches so he could wrestle there. And I'm like, what? Right. So then, like, I'm in the stands and they're cheering, like, yeah, go Duran, go Duran. I'm like, yeah, Duran's not from there.
It sounds like
he's never seen a farm.
You need to get an 8-plex, I think. You just need to get an 8-plex at your home, and then you just have all the kids stay there with you.
Yeah, so then, like, parents will get mad at me and they'll look over and then, like, they'll say something to their husband will be like, just shut up. And like,
Duran.
Like, man. So, yeah, I can't wait. Say something to me, please.
And then what about a club?
Oh, man, actually, I don't like that one because when I'm out in the club, I'm actually trying to have fun. I'm not a tough guy. I don't go out looking for fights or trying to, show, hey, I'm a big, bad dude.
Right.
And most of the guys who are trying to fight are the guys, they're not trying to have fun.
Right.
Like when I go out, well, not anymore, but when I used to go out looking for women, like obviously I'm engaged now.
Right.
So like,
congrats, by the way.
Thank you, appreciate it. But when I used to go out, I was either kicking it with my boys just to have fun, or we were hunting.
Right.
Okay. I'm not looking for a fight.
Right.
We just paid to get in here.
Right.
I'm paying to drink.
Like 3 times the price for drinks.
Like when I drink, it's for liquid confidence to talk to women. Not that I don't have confidence. Not liquid confidence to fight. I know I can do that.
Right.
I didn't come to do that. I do that at the gym.
Right.
I have a nice outfit on.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get arrested tonight, dude. Oh, man. So like when guys walk up on me, I'm like, dude, really? Like, you really want to do this?
Right.
Because honestly, if you make me go outside, I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Because you're ruining my night.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back, probably ruin my shirt, there's probably blood on it. And if we're fighting over a girl, she's going to think I'm a dick now, so she's not going to talk to me anyways.
It's one of those, if you win the fight, you're the asshole, and if you lose the fight, then you're kind of a bitch.
Dude, this really happened to me 3 years ago. Yeah, because I was only single for a year after me and my ex broke up.
Right.
I met this girl, and she asked me to meet her out for drinks at this club. I'm at the club, and this African European soccer player, like he was from Africa, but he played for a team in Europe.
Right.
I don't know why he was here, but he was here, and I guess her and him met on Tinder, and they went on a date, and she didn't talk to him again.
Right.
He sees us out the club.
Yeah.
He comes up, grabs me, and was like, hey, this is my girl. And I'm like, what?
And does he know that you're a fighter?
No. And
so he just knows that he's an athlete and that he's probably like taller than you, maybe?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Almost everybody's taller than me. I'm 5'8".
And he knows he's fast.
Yeah, he knows
he's a soccer player.
And it was funny because he was with this really big guy. Big guy looked like he was in the NFL. So the girls tell him, like, leave me alone. Like, this is my friend. We're out. I never want to see you again, this and that. So he was like, you know what? She was telling me she wants to be with me. She loves me. I spent this, and that. I'm like, all right, man, whatever. So fast forward, we're having a problem. Security's kind of surrounding us, and all the bouncers are like my teammates. So I'm looking at them like, we're good.
Right.
So it was so funny. I never forget this. His buddy, because he went and got his buddy, because he still needed backup.
Oh, yeah.
So like he went and got his buddy. His buddy's pretty big. I'm like standing like this. I'm like, hey, look, I swear I said this. I said, how about we go outside? When we come back, you can tell whatever story you want. But we're going to put our drinks down right now. We're not going to make a scene. And we're going to go out back. And like I said, when you come back, you can tell whatever story you want.
Right.
As soon as I said that, his buddy's like, man, come on, let's go. She with him. We got to go. I thought that was the end of it.
Right.
So later that night, I'm getting in my car, and I'm driving by, and I see the big guy. He's by himself.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, man, thanks for pulling your buddy away. He's like, hey, man, you must be a fighter or something. And I was like, actually, I am. He's like, I knew it. He was like, the way you said that shit so confidently about going outside with him.
Right.
He's like, I knew something was up with you.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no way. He's like, because his friend was like so aggressive towards me. And the whole time I was just standing there like this. He's like, man, you were just so cool, calm, and collected. And when you told him to go outside and he can come back and tell whatever story, he's like, I knew you was a bad motherfucker. And I was like, yeah.
I think it's that moment of reality that people that don't fight, they like, it's like a moment when they realize that to them, they're like emotionally worked up. Mm-hmm. And I think there's like a click moment when they realize that you're not emotionally worked up at all. Mm. And it's like somehow, I think in their head, they start to realize the reason you're not emotionally worked up is because to you, that's something you do like on the regular. You know, I think there's like a thing that happens in someone's head subconsciously.
And if you're a true martial artist, I feel corny even saying that, you got to have discipline.
Right.
Like, even when people, because I could go to jail for fighting on the streets for real. You know, like, even if you're being a dick, even if you're agitating me to the point where we should throw hands, I have to have restraint.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I have to be like, okay, no. Like, basically, you got to put your hands on me. Right. Which is why I was like, hey, all right, you pissing me off. Let's go outside, no cameras. You come back and say whatever you want.
And then there's no show, and then it cuts that all out.
Yeah.
It's like, man, who was that? That Cash Me Outside girl. That Dr. Phil was talking about this. Oh, yeah. He said that he, whenever they brought her back on the show, right, that they took the entire audience out of the show. So it was just him, Cash Me Outside girl, and a mom, and there was no like theatrics or anything. They just had a normal conversation. Right? But then you get all these people around, and there's got to be like a show, you know, because it's a pomp and ego, you know, and they bark loud, and then there's no fight.
We've
it's
all
like
had that guy in class, especially elementary. Man, I'll whoop you. When the teacher's in the classroom, as soon as the teacher goes to the office, you look at him, he got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Like, exactly.
Like, hey, man, you want to fight? What's up? Oh, man.
I think, and then do you get that stuff online, too?
Not a lot. I have like if I have a fight, you know, like a lot of my opponents like
run their mouths and tag you.
Not even them.
No?
It'd be like their fans, their fans or their teammates. Oh, you're this, you're that, and I'm just like, all right, I'm finna beat up your friend. You don't egg it on? No. Well, sometimes I do. Sometimes, as long as they don't get racist. Yeah. I love battling on social media. I go at you. Yeah.
You think? What do you think from a marketing standpoint for a fighter? Talking smack online. What do you think?
It probably makes sense. Yeah. I mean, there's things that like for brands that I work with or my personal brand, like I wouldn't do, but are really, really effective.
That if you go real edgy and just run your mouth, like totally Conor McGregor it.
See, when I go, I'm more of like intelligent banter. Like, I try to be funny with it. Like, like they'll come at me kind of offensive. Yeah. And then I'll jokingly go back at them. Yeah. And then by the end of it, it's kind of like, I've even made them a fan of mine. And that's happened a lot, you know? Yeah. So, like, as long as you don't go right back at them with negativity, like, they kind of warm up to you, and they kind of happy you engage them. You know, because a lot of times they'll hit up a fighter, and he'll just ignore them, like, because they get hit up all the time.
I think that's a big mistake a lot of fighters make, is they don't do, this will sound real weird, but the networking side around the fights. And so you get out to a fight, and you've got guys that are like, you know, they're all fighters, and so a lot of guys have that persona where they're still trying to prove that they're fighters at the fight. Like everyone around you is a fighter. You know, you got fans, but instead of being smart, I think, where you meet all these other fighters and all these other coaches and all these other sponsors and this and that, they end up trying to look tough the whole time, and then they end up with like nothing, you know.
Being
and so they
standoffish.
Whereas you take that same amount of time in any field, I think that, and you invest that, like trying to just say what's up to people and spending a little bit of time, you know, it doesn't change the outcome of the night whether you win or lose. But the difference is you've made like maybe 20 new friends just from going around and talking to people for a second.
And I do that a lot, and I would say that's one of the biggest things that helps me get through the fight. Yeah. Like, honestly, in a 3-day fight weekend, you get there kind of 2.5 to 3 days before the fight. I'm rarely thinking about my fight until I'm like interviewed, I'm like hitting mitts.
Kind of at that point.
Most of the time, I'm mingling, I'm socializing, taking my mind off like networking, like, oh, okay, this guy trains here. Hey, you got sponsored by them. Like, how can I get connected with them? Like, oh, your manager got this, and that, blah, blah, blah. Have our managers talk. Yeah. Like, and you just meet people, and you take your mind off things, and you become more personable, and organizations like you because like, you're not stuck up in your room. You're not hard to talk to. You're not a robot.
Yeah,
you know,
fans get to talk to you. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And then do you do lots of networking stuff with your company?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're always, and you also have the podcast over for what's it called? CIC?
With Venture Cafe, our podcast called Innovation City. So where I was before I came here was to just do a little networking and
Innovation City. If you were looking for awesome business stuff, that is the podcast you want to watch, because you always interview different business people from around the area, and it's more of a business-based podcast, correct?
Yeah, it's people that are either entrepreneurs or they're artists, creatives, or kind of like social entrepreneurs, things like that. A lot of different people.
Yeah, and it's just a one-on-one, so you really get to interview them, grill them, and not like this random hellhole of a table.
Yeah, so usually it's one guest. We occasionally have more. We occasionally have like 4 or so, but
yeah,
one guest, and then myself and my business partner Tyler. We do the interviews.
And then you do that right after. You do that right before the networking event that they host there.
Yeah, we do it kind of during the thing. So we have all the noise in the background and everything going on. So yeah.
So if you haven't ever heard of it, it's Venture Cafe. It's every Thursday. You've got it's a big networking event, and there's free beer there. It's at CIC. So if you go to the CIC Center, it is there. He'll be hosting his vidcast podcast, and then also they have free beer. So and then there's great people there too. So I've met a lot of cool people at that Venture Cafe podcast. Check that out, or check out Venture Cafe and his podcast, Innovation City.
Yeah.
So do you stick around usually after the podcast and hang out?
So when we do a podcast there now, we do we did our podcast last week. We did 7 guests.
Right.
So that was like from 2 until 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So it stretched the whole time.
Sure.
I mean, there's breaks in between. So in between,
right.
We go and mingle and talk to people.
But most of the time you're interviewing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then you get a lot of people through. Have you been on a lot of vidcasts?
No, I used to do a podcast for a while.
Oh, awesome.
I'm when we were talking about promoting fights on Twitter, I'm a wrestling fan.
Oh wow,
by heart. So he's already shaking his head.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I got a lot of friends who are like hardcore in the WWE,
and I am as well. So yeah, I used to have a wrestling podcast.
How into wrestling are you? Like when you go to wrestling events, do you go full outfit?
Oh no, I don't know anyone that does that. I wear the T-shirt.
Because I feel like if I was gonna go to a wrestling event,
I'm gonna actually do the body paint or something.
I would
body paint.
If I'm gonna
you
go,
would definitely do body
if I'm
paint.
going to a wrestling event, I am gonna be the worst fan, like the most white trash fan that there can possibly be at a wrestling event. Like I will set the standard. I'd like to set it. I'd really like to set that standard.
Actually, the worst fan at wrestling events are the too casual ones.
The ones that don't react to anything.
Well, the ones that are thinking they're above everything.
Right,
and when you sit next to one of those people, you're just like, oh my God.
Like, get into the story.
They're the emotional succubus.
But get into it, but they're just like, oh, yeah, oh, that was cool.
Right.
What's going on with this? Oh, yeah, like, just ignoring
I know exactly what you...
Yeah,
instead of just enjoying it and, it's an act, it's a show, and you gotta,
It's male soap opera.
It's a circus. It's male soap opera. Get into it.
They got it right when they made it WWE. They put the entertainment on the internet. I hate that they had to take off the F, but
that was for because of the Wildlife Federation.
Wildlife Fund, yeah.
Was it the fund? The World Wildlife Fund. You stomped on WWE.
Yeah, it was a whole thing because it used to be.
As it was, I mean, probably gave them more clicks.
Yeah, make it a big battle. Yeah. I don't think there were a lot of people that were that savvy with drama and with big outrage online, or even in marketing in general.
But when did that change happen? I mean, that was like in the 90s.
It's it's like the last. Well, when people started
something, it was 2000.
It was 2000.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was 2000.
You mean where companies started getting ballsy and doing really controversial?
No, when WWF changed.
Oh, WWE, right? The change.
2001, 2002.
So that was like prime internet time.
You might be right.
People were discovering the
internet. I feel like I was in college, like 05, 06.
Well, it definitely was a thing, but I remember around.
I feel like I was still watching it because it was like the WCW, WWF era.
Well, WCW ended in 2001.
That was the last year of that?
Yeah, that was the last year of that.
And did they get bought out or just closed down?
They got bought out.
Right.
By the WWE.
Right.
That was like the worst thing that could happen.
Well, yeah, that is because there was no competition.
There was no competition. That's what I'm saying. There was no competition.
For the wrestlers, that's probably terrible.
Yeah, but now we're actually seeing a resurgence
of new wrestling organizations.
Wrestling in Japan.
Wow.
Now that the internet's everywhere, there is more competition, and you can kind of see WWE freaking out a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Not too much. They're still way up here.
I got an offer that I could potentially wrestle for Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
What's he doing?
He has his own private Christian wrestling circuit.
I knew it was a Christian wrestling.
And he does, he goes around and he talks at different churches. He has a book that he's got. It's about, I think it's called like Man on Fire.
Oh, yeah,
that's the name of it. And so, anyways, I think he also has a wrestling circuit, and I heard that they pay like, it's not like something you'd make a living off of, but for a weekend gig, I think it's like,
with you.
Yeah, we'll go crazy, dude. We'll totally break down the racial divide in St. Louis.
Yeah, man, we be Ebony and Ivory.
Ebony and Ivory coming on for the arch over the top. We just arched you.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
There's some local wrestling stuff, isn't there?
There's a lot. There's
of
local
small
wrestling
local leagues.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And then there's international wrestling. There's so many people that are wrestling now because of the WWF. Everyone grew up watching it and wanted to do that. So right now you have all these guys. You have too many people.
Really?
Yeah, there's way too many people. And I see people locally, I'm like, well, why aren't they up here? It's just because
now when you say too many, what do you mean?
Well, I'll go with this. I'm a comedian. There's way too many people doing stand-up.
Yeah.
Because you'll see a very funny person. You're like, well, why am I not seeing them on Colbert or whatever?
Right.
It's because there's so many. And, someone that was considered super funny today would have killed it back in the 90s when there wasn't that many people.
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah.
80s
The
or
comedy,
anything.
the level of comedy has gone up dramatically.
Level of everything, really.
Sure, and I think that part of the reason, though, is because of the internet, and you just have there's more avenues for people to get information out. I mean, case in point, But it's something that if you're not competitive, if you don't use that technology to build yourself up, you're going to be left behind, in my opinion. But it's for the people that have drive, they'll get so much further along than the people that don't.
Oh, I'm with it. Yeah, I'm not saying there's too many and that's a bad thing.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
there's a lot.
Currently, the WWE, they do have too much talent and they don't know what to do with it. They have no idea. It
almost seems like something like that, where it would be restart some kind of WCW or something and have a second wrestling circuit.
So that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
There's Japan and
which is what you're basically saying.
And a bunch of these guys from Japan met up with a guy named Tony Khan, who his dad owns the Jacksonville Jaguars and Fulham FC. So they got a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they just threw $100 million at this, and they're just now starting it. And now that's when WWE...
I feel like Japan...
in the U.S. It's... Yeah.
From what I saw in the pride fighting circuits, where I feel like there's a lot more emphasis on the entertainment side versus being a fighter, over in, you look at guys like Kazushi Sakuraba, he'd have all types of antics when he'd come out onto the stage. You get guys like Jason Mayhem Miller, who were just awesome intro guys and a lot of drama and just total comics. You had a lot of that, and I think that part of that is because it's so valued in Japan. And so even if you lose a fight in Japan, but you put on a good show, they still value that you put out effort.
Very true.
Pretty awesome. I bet you Japan, there's huge demand for wrestling.
Oh.
I should go back. Maybe we need to go there.
Here's how huge it is.
Yeah, I would love to go to Japan.
In Tokyo alone, as far as wrestling companies, there's over 150 in Tokyo alone.
Wrestling companies?
They say there's an average of 15 shows a night.
Wow.
That you can, it's that big over there.
Wow.
Professional wrestling.
Is Japan where they have the World Air Guitar Championships as well?
There's
that level of theatrics, I think, would make wrestling really interesting.
It's theatrics.
How do you have an air guitar?
I mean,
how do you have
look it up. Just Google it. It's ridiculous.
I've seen it before. It's crazy, but
there is a legit
We should probably ask Robert Kraft about going over there. He might.
But he was in Florida.
No,
different edge.
Oh
man, it's so rough.
Asians, that guy.
That whole thing.
That whole thing.
Everybody got it. Everybody got it.
Oh man. Yeah, they got a...
Let's pivot out of that one. Well, here's what I'll say. I do like theatrics on stuff. I'll pivot us out of here. I do like theatrics on stuff. One thing, since I got a fighter right here, I watch UFC sometimes. I've seen Bellator sometimes. Correct me if I'm wrong with Bellator. My whole thing is I think the champion should bring the belt to the ring.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole thing with Conor McGregor when he won the 2 belts and they gave him one because they didn't have the other one out there. I'm like, both guys should have came out.
Agreed.
And they had to go snatch one off of someone backstage because he was demanding another belt.
Right.
I think the championship should be brought out to the ring.
And then if the other guy gets it. But don't they get to keep the belt even if they lose the belt? They don't actually have to return the belt, right?
I think part of that, I mean, obviously, knowing because I'm a fighter, I've fought for Bellator and some big organizations. That whole walkout thing, man, it's pretty serious. Like, you don't, like you said, the whole theatrical part. Like, we don't get to put on a show for the most part, you know, like on the way out. Like, they're telling you, like, hey,
you got security guys walking you out.
You got security guys coming. Like, they're staging you, like, 3 fights out. Like, 3 fights out, they're coming to get me from the locker room, telling me, like, nothing but your hat, shoes, stuff, no headphones, nothing like that, depending on what organization you're in. And, like, a belt, like, because when you get there, it's like, take off all your stuff. Where's your cup, mouthpiece?
Right.
Nothing on you, grease in the cage. You know, like, so I just think, you know, with time and stuff like that.
Maybe it's too much.
Well, it's the time thing. You know, like I guess WWE, you know, like they got a time slot. They'll go over the time slot. How many times they done that? Like most MMA organizations, like, hey, if it's from 8 to 9, they have to be done at 9 most of the time. So they'll cut your walkout like, hey, run out there. Like, I literally remember Bellator telling me, take your shirt off right now. Soon as your guy gets in the cage, you run to the cage. I'm like, and that fucking happened. Like, man.
And you got to play it off like that's normal. Like you were just really excited.
They're playing my music on fast forward. I'm like,
like you're really excited to get out to the cage.
Yeah.
Here's the tip. Here's the tip for you guys if you want a fight tip. I hope you're listening to this. So I don't know what the exact prices are in UFC, but the last time I checked, which was like probably 13 years ago, UFC ticket was like $350. That was for the worst ticket in the entire arena, and that was behind a pole where you're watching TV, and then you got to be a member of the UFC fan club. I think that's another $750. So you're looking at out the gate without buying tickets, hotel, or anything else, just like $1,000 for a ticket, right? However, with Bellator, last time I went to the Bellator, which was I don't know, 2 years ago maybe, I got a front row ticket for $150. And I got to sit like immediately behind, you know, a bunch of main fighters like Tyron Woodley, Dan Henderson, and it was a pretty star-studded cast. However, if I would have gotten the $400 pit pass, then you get to walk around by the cage and all that. You basically get backstage pass. But if you look at the price value on one, you spend $300, you know, you spend $1,000 on your ticket and on a pass, and you're not even getting near the ring. Whereas with Bellator, you spend $400 and you're literally walking around with the fighters.
Yeah.
So from a ticket buying standpoint, that's your tip.
I will have to do that next time.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, I know you're getting tickets anyways, but
yeah.
You're in. He's getting the pass.
I get hit up. That's the person. Hey man, can you get to? Yeah, man. Yeah. I haven't talked to you in months, but sure. Got you.
We went to kindergarten together, man. Can you hook me up?
So check this out. We've got the comedian and we got a fighter, and we've also got one of the top marketing talents in St. Louis. So here's my question for you, for these guys. I'm asking for them. If you were going to recommend a fighter and a comedian, or just something, you know, let's say an independent person trying to get their message out, trying to get their voice out, trying to get out to more people just to expand their reach, what would you recommend them doing? Like maybe a fast track type of thing, like, hey, do this, this, and this.
Man, that's
on the spot.
I'm not super familiar with the fighting world, but I would think anytime that, so you're talking about anytime you can have
all the answer for each.
No. I want to know what he is going to say, because here's the thing. And I don't want to know from like a fighter that's established and has money and like that. I'm talking about a comedian that's never been out on a show, isn't making any money, and a fighter that is not really fighting. He's been training forever, but he's just now starting to get into the fight stuff. So you know how it is, first few fights, you're not going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff do you think you would recommend them do to expand their reach?
So I think, like a minute ago, I was thinking something else, but here's what I think is that it's all about building an audience for yourself. And you do that by basically like making something almost every day and sharing it until you continually build your audience. and I don't necessarily think it's like one network specific online. I think Instagram's pretty hot right now for building an audience on.
Yeah.
But also, if you can continually create like video content for YouTube, like if you're a new fighter and you're making a video, even once a week, but if you can do it more than that, kind of about your journey, and people follow that journey, like they'll latch on and root for you.
Yeah.
So I think those are like 2 great ways to do it.
Basically storytelling about how you got to become a fighter and how you got to become a comedian and sort of why you're into it and why you do it, and then also like the hardships you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, going through like the training aspect and going through the rigors that you got to put yourself through, kind of something like that.
And the great part is like you're not manufacturing anything. All you're doing is just documenting what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
And people are following you on that journey.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know. What do you think of that?
I think you're right from that aspect. I think there's no, I'm not gonna say there's no wrong answer, but there's definitely a handful of ways like you could be successful. So we're saying, you know, if he's already training, how does he get to the big time? Or like get
more
get
so
a big
not necessarily how to get to the big time, because I feel like to do that it's sort of 2 things. It's sort of networking, part 1. I'm sure a social media following helps, but also it's a lot of it's if you're winning, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you have to win, but then also the other stuff that'll help you too. But more so what I'm asking is this: it's not really about getting to bigger organizations. More so developing a following, helping develop a following. Because definitely 100% for comedians and for fighters, if you're selling tickets, if you're getting asses in the seats, like that's a big thing, and you're gonna get more work. Period. Even if you lose and you can sell a couple hundred tickets, I mean that's gonna be massive.
Yeah, I would say from a fighter, just seeing what's been successful for people that got followings, even guys that weren't even good fighters, is always going out there and putting on a show.
Right.
You know, whether you got some kind of gimmick, you shave your head, you got like a lime green mohawk or something like that, you're an ass, you know, you call out the best guys. You know, if you're
basically saying WWE it.
Pretty much. I mean, like I think
crossover.
Yeah, you know,
yeah.
like,
times.
you come out there, you got some kind of stitch. I mean, people are gonna want to see. Like mine was natural, and actually, it was one that was thrown onto me. Like my nickname's the Pretty Boy.
Right.
You know, like, and that started as a joke in my own gym. My teammates kind of were making fun of me, calling me Prima Donna and Pretty Boy because I was always trying to look nice. And then, you know, I kind of like played into it. It was natural. Like,
yeah, it's good.
I'm kind of cute, this and that. And all of a sudden, it's either like, okay, the girls want to see the Pretty Boy, and the guys want to see this Pretty Boy get his ass beat.
Yeah.
You know, so like people wanted to see me.
Yeah.
And then I played into it. I would talk shit and flirt with the girls, and you be mad because you're buying drinks and your girls, you know, taking weeks from me while I'm beating this dude's ass. And you're not going to say anything when I get out of the cage either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to that like audience promotion point though, I don't know, like somebody probably has to fact check this, but I think like in the UK, one of the largest grossing fights over the last year was not fighters, but a couple YouTubers that had a fight.
I think you might be right.
They like made the most money ever.
It was the white guy,
Logan Paul.
One of the Pauls, or both of them were in it.
I think it was Logan.
It was a black guy too, right? It was a black guy and a white guy.
I don't remember. I didn't watch it. So.
It was him. Yeah, it was him and another guy.
Yeah.
But the thing that I didn't realize is how tall that Logan Paul dude is.
Yeah, he's pretty tall.
Super tall.
The other guy's shorter, but
he doesn't look that tall, like on his, on his camera, because he's holding it at a selfie level. But you don't realize how long his damn legs and body are.
Yeah.
And how tall is he? Is he like 6?
I don't know.
He's got to be over 6
He's a big
foot.
dude.
Yeah, he's definitely over 6 foot.
And they weren't good. And I think Logan won though, didn't he?
Oh, the boxing match?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were good for a couple of guys that were YouTubers and weren't boxers. You know?
Wow.
But he does train. I think he actually trains boxing. And I'm not saying he was good, but he was.
Yeah, from what I remember the fight, I feel like he definitely looked like he knew more of what he was doing than the other guy did.
Oh yeah, the other guy was, from what I recall, was kind of the slouch and sort of. Yeah, definitely didn't have things as tight.
I think he bit off more than he can chew.
And I don't think he realized that dude had been boxing and stuff. Yeah. And I guess I couldn't really say, but I wouldn't think he would know off the bat just from, because it all started over them running their mouths. So him running his mouth to him probably had nothing to do with him assessing his fighting ability, or he's just singing like this YouTube idiot, I'll whoop his ass. But that dude's like he's a wrestler. He's a high school wrestler, maybe even a college wrestler.
Who, Logan Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he was, yeah.
Yeah.
They were definitely high school wrestlers.
Definitely high school. So, I mean, that alone, you're dealing with someone who's an athlete and then someone that stayed with boxing, and apparently he just really loves the boxing side and loves drama and running his mouth.
Plus, regardless, they're probably like, we're going to make so much money and sell so many T-shirts.
Right.
That it doesn't matter what happens. We need to do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Let's see.
Oh, we got questions.
Yes. Do we have any questions?
I thought you had questions.
Oh, I got a ton of questions.
Okay.
Yeah, so moving into the improv scene, right?
Yeah.
What do you think one of the biggest draws are? Because even right now, you know, we got a bar here, we got a show going on, but you guys have all types of classes here.
Yeah.
What's the biggest draw? What's the biggest reason that people come out? Because, and the reason I'm asking this is this. The number one thing that people are afraid of, the number one thing is just public speaking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And with it being like the scariest thing for people to do, if that's the scariest thing, why in the hell are all these people here?
So are you saying why they're coming to see it?
Why are they? No, not why they're coming to see it. Why are they coming to train improv? Because the last time I came in, there was like 40 people, and there was a given Thursday night, and they were all literally there to go on stage to talk, perform, improv it up.
Yeah.
So that's my question. Why are 40 freaking psychopaths showing up to speak on stage when everyone else is absolutely terrified of doing it? What brings people in? Why do they do this?
I think psychopaths was on the head.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was. I mean, we all got to be a little crazy, honestly, and there's probably some narcissistic bullshit there, or something. We can break it down, but really, what I think, and I actually coach improv teams as well. So really, what I see most of the times are people are so shy and they want to get out of that,
and they want to break through the shell and get to the next level.
They want to break through that shell. They're so afraid of public speaking. They want to try something new. This is actually a hobby for some people as well, and it's something they want to do as a hobby that they can find some fulfillment out of there.
Sure.
It also is the community here. We're seeing these 40 people here because they belong here. They got a sense of community. There's a lot of support. Yeah, there's a lot of support here.
Which even further breaks people out of their shell.
Oh, yeah, so much.
I bet to be to that level where you were like, you're so shy that you have to do like your absolute fear, confront your absolute fear and step forward. Like you've really got, I don't want to say like be at rock bottom, but you've really got to have that like emotional desire to change.
I know a lot of people that were like that. My origin story here, I started 6 years ago, and it was someone that was so shy. My friend's brother's ex-girlfriend, it was real weird, talked me, there's a lot of layers.
So you were shy, yeah. You were shy, because you don't seem very shy right now.
My friend's brother's ex-girlfriend was shy, and she talked my friend into doing it, and then he talked me into doing it, so there's so many layers here. And she was way too shy and just couldn't handle it.
Wow.
Didn't finish the class or anything. I was like, I'm here to support them. I'm going to finish this one level, and I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm here 6 years later still.
That is awesome.
Just because I got hooked 2 classes in, I'm like, all right, this is where I belong. Done. There's just a sense of community and something that you feel like inner fulfillment. Can I tell you exactly why there's 40 friggin' people here ready to go up, even though... Public, I've seen people go here. I was talking to you earlier. I did stand up a handful of times.
Yeah.
It scares the shit out of me.
That seems way harder.
It is way harder. I wasn't horrible at it, and I got friends that do it. But like, if you have one joke and you get like a, like you're like, oh man, I spent time writing that joke, and then you're in your head and you're like, oh shit. Like,
oh yeah.
I thought that was going to be great. I was laughing when I was writing that at my kitchen table.
Oh, yeah.
At 5 o'clock. And this one, like I said, I say a joke. I'm like, well, I just came up with it. Probably bad joke. Who gives a shit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's, it's hard. It's hard whenever you think, like you personally think something's funny and then nobody else does. But like for me personally, like whenever I think something's hilarious and absolutely nobody else thinks it's funny, like it makes it even more funny for me. Yeah.
Oh, I laugh harder.
Oh yeah.
Like if somebody doesn't laugh at something I'm laughing at, I'm just like, wow. Like I'll lose it.
Oh yeah.
I can't even breathe.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest things that make you guys, that makes everyone laugh. Like it's just, and then I just like when people are looking at you like, and you're dying laughing.
Sure.
Like, I'll tell you one thing that I just thought was the funniest thing. There was a trivia night that I was at, and it's just so dumb, but like, you make up your names, and everyone's trying to make a name to make people laugh. And the first answer was A Bug's Life, and someone's team name was A Dick's Life. And every time they announced the name, I could not stop laughing. And my coworkers are at the table just looking at me like, what's wrong with you? And every time I'm like, it's A Dick's Life. I don't know. It's just the funniest thing. I just imagine a penis on a little leaf just crawling up. It's no, you don't think of that?
No.
Okay. All right.
You kind of answered what was in my head though. Like, what would be the go-to if I was going to get into comedy? The go-to things that make people laugh.
Yeah, it's the go-to things that make people laugh. I mean, that's just what makes me laugh. But I mean,
dicks make you laugh.
I think
we started with that.
That's how we started the show.
That movie Superbad.
Yeah,
you know what fools are shaped like dicks?
Yeah.
The best kind.
That's one of my favorite movies. But no, it's just like stuff like that makes me laugh, and we can get into the psychology of that, of just like. Sex was a bad thing when we were younger, so now at this age, I'm like, fucking, I can say whatever I want.
Right.
Fucking, I think it's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
A lot of different things make people laugh. I wish I could tell you, because I really don't know.
But. Do you do a lot of comedy with your marketing stuff?
No.
More dry and straight, just...
It's more just like happy, feel good, that kind of stuff, emotional.
Oh, wow. So we're in for a treat. So,
I got an answer that I just thought.
Yeah, bust it.
Really, in the heart of things, is what makes people laugh is you being real. If they can tell you're being truthful, or that there's some sort of truth behind this, there's a saying in improv is truth is comedy. So even if it's an act, even if I wrote something and I'm doing an act, if you don't believe that, then you're toast. Yeah. It's done. I got friends that do stand-up in character, and they kill it because people semi-believe it a little bit. They believe, like, all right, there's an element of that's you. So, that's my answer. Sorry to cut you off. I was thinking about that.
I think you gotta have a lot of confidence sometimes to pull off stuff, pull off humor. If you don't have that level of confidence, like, I think people, they'll see it, they'll react to it, they'll turn on it. If you're throwing out a joke that could be funny and you're not 100% like confident, believing in what you're saying, believing that it's funny, like nobody else is gonna get on either.
No, absolutely. Like, the worst. Me in high school was the worst thing ever. Like, I wanted to be funny on things. And I was throwing out stuff, and it always just flatlined. Yeah,
because you're throwing it out. You're not even throwing it out that you feel good about yourself. You're just trying to. It's more of like, and I used to do this too when I was younger, and I probably still do it now. It's more like you throw out a joke. It's like this. You tell a joke, and there's a punchline done, right? But if you're like expecting someone else to react, you're like, and that's why I said no more fish on Fridays. And you're laughing at me, right? But it's that weird thing because you're like expecting them to laugh, and you're like emotionally needing it to happen.
Need it,
And I think when you're younger, just out of insecurities, you tend to do that more because you tell a joke and you're like praying to God that people are going to react to it. And then as you get older, and maybe you just get bitter or something, but you tend to not care as much.
I still care.
Still care
because I'll be like, get it. And then
because then it's your dog.
You like re-explain it, like what to do.
Well, man. So you just reminded me. I'm sorry. You just reminded me of something. Like, I've gotten so many people that, like, when I say I'm a comedian, they try to tell me their best joke,
right,
and then they'll laugh so hard at it and look at my laugh. I'm going, yeah. But they're also going like, oh, you're a comedian. Tell me a joke. Which I think is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're an MMA fighter, punch me real quick. Yeah, come on.
Just give me one of the legs.
It's the craziest thing to
Choke
me.
me out. Yeah, I've had that.
Oh, you've had that?
Yeah.
I've heard stories of MMA fighters just choking me. All right, cool. And wrestlers.
No.
Have you done it if they ask you?
No.
Well, you can, you can cut off the blood to someone's brain, especially if they're out drinking. It's even more likely. And then, I mean, you do cut it off. Not you can.
No,
you definitely will.
Yeah.
But then the thing is that they can go and it can be worse for you to get choked out than to get knocked out.
Yeah, because the blood clots, it can cause blood clots, I think.
And then literally you're shutting down the oxygen of the brain.
Yeah.
And then at some point there starts being brain trauma. I always get scared. Like I don't get scared when I see someone get choked out and like they go unconscious or even choked out and then they come back to and start swinging. But the one that always freaks me out is when someone gets choked out and then they go in convulsions. That always.
I've seen that.
I think that would freak everyone out.
Yeah. But it's usually like it'll happen. I've only seen it happen a few times in fights because usually someone will tap out, right? But occasionally it'll happen where the fight happens, they get choked out, and then they don't, like the ref doesn't see the tap. They didn't tap hard enough.
Or they're in a position where they
can't tap. You know, so then you got to tap a foot. But if you're totally locked up, that can literally be sometimes impossible. But yeah, so that's the scary thing.
Yeah, I did it a couple years ago. I choked out a teammate in the gym and
sparring.
Yeah, we were rolling jiu-jitsu and I had him in a gi choke.
Yeah,
and
he didn't know that you had it.
No, he knew I had
okay.
it, and he's kind of trying to be cocky, like he was fine.
Yeah,
and like I can't even explain the position, but the way I had it, I was like looking at his face.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know I can feel I got this choke.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just looking at me like,
I'm fine.
And then all of a sudden it was.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, and he's.
Oh man.
Like,
no.
I was freaking.
They try to shake him up.
Out, dude. Like one of the coaches ran him because they saw it and like shook up and woke up. I thought I killed him.
Yeah.
Like I've never wanted to do that to anybody. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's
it
scary.
freaked me out. And I thought he was fine,
yeah.
you know? So
sure.
I kind of started squeezing harder.
Yeah.
And he was
out.
dead. Yeah.
What age kids do you have when you're
in high school?
You coach high school kids?
High school. Yeah.
They don't do that stuff for fun.
No,
he
coaches
coaches two things though. He coaches wrestling at Kokia and then coaches MMA out at SCMMA out of Mike Rogers Academy.
Because I know there's some kids in like junior high school think it's fun to choke each other out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that reminds me of I don't know what game it's called.
Chokeout game.
The one where like you pass out.
Yeah, the pass out game. That's the other one. Same game.
Dude, and oh man, I wrestled in college. All my teammates were not black, so they introduced me to a lot of not black cultural things. Okay.
Right.
So I remember one night we were drinking. My buddy's like, "Hey man." First of all, it was the first time I ever had Jaeger, and it convinced me it was deer blood.
Yeah.
I got that convinced too.
Yeah. There's still people that tell me that.
Yeah. So anyway, it was like we're gonna do the pass out game. So people are doing it, and I'm thinking that they're all faking.
Right.
I'm like, dude, he's not asleep. He's
right.
You know, blah blah. So I just remember I was sitting on the food time, and there were two girls to the left and the right of me. I was friends with both of them. They just happened to be in the room. I'm hanging out, sitting there, and they're like, EJ, your turn. And I'm like, all right. I go to do this, right?
Right.
They tell you bend over, you do the breaths, and then you come up, and you're supposed to hold your breath, and somebody's supposed to hold you.
Right.
You know, and like squeezing, you're supposed to hold your breath, and then you're supposed to pass out.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I had seen like 4 or 5 people do before me.
Yeah.
So they do it. They set me down. I walk back over to the food time, and I sit there, and I'm like, I told you it wouldn't work.
Right.
Okay? A few minutes later, I wake up in the corner of the room and everybody's looking at me. Dude, are you all right? I freaked the fuck out. I dreamed that he put me down and that I walked over and it didn't work.
Yeah.
They had the video of me passing out.
Oh, wow.
And I dreamed that it didn't work. I got up and I ran down the hallway. I was like, don't fucking talk to me again. I'm never doing it again.
Yeah.
That was crazy, dude. It really happened. Just like that. I was like, man, that was freaking insane.
So let me ask you this, because when I saw that we were going to be on this podcast together, I didn't know you. I looked at you on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you went to school in Lincoln.
Lincoln, Illinois. Yeah, that's where it was at.
Which is also where I went to school, but to a different school in Lincoln.
You went to Lincoln Christian College?
Yep. And there is nothing to do there is
I know.
absolutely nothing to do in Lincoln. So
you
it's interesting.
Just make people pass out.
Crazy.
Yeah,
We were
it's
in the same
interesting
town.
that you learned a lot of like boring white things in Lincoln.
Oh man.
Where
I would
there's
say they were
nothing
boring. I
to
thought they
do.
were pretty cool. It was just
They
like,
take
wow.
you cow tipping?
No,
There
but
weren't even cows around there.
Oh man,
It's like all cornfield.
Wait.
the cows
the
were like
boonies.
F this, we're out. This is too
I
boring.
mean, I'm sure there were
Yeah.
cows somewhere.
Yeah, there were cows. Yeah, there was a farm. Because I remember specifically one morning, like I say morning, like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
We got in trouble. Our coaches put us in the back of a truck, drove us like miles out of town.
Yeah.
Made us get out and run back to town.
Yeah,
That sucked.
yeah.
I love Lincoln. You probably didn't have that much. He
No,
went
it
to
was
Christian
all right.
college there.
I still have family that lives up there, so we go up there.
What was the Lincoln Christian College like? So tell me this. My friends that have gone to Christian colleges,
Yeah.
right? There's this crazy thing that they do in Christian colleges where
Don't talk to any girls, or like they'll think you're gonna they'll think you're gonna get married.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yes.
So in Christian colleges, it's like if you're not married by like sophomore year, they're like wondering what's going on, or you're supposed to be engaged or
What?
something. By like junior year, like you should definitely be like married, right? Like
Yeah,
get,
like
get
if-
married during school.
Basically, if you talk to a girl, like the whole campus thinks that
That's like
you're
that's
gonna
it. You
get
guys are
married.
done. Like that's it. I would never be able to talk to any
Are you
girls
serious?
because that would just drive. You know, that's like
Craziest thing.
I'm like the committophobe. I would never be able to do it. That would be the one thing. Like if you want to, hey, if you're listening to this, you want to scare me the hell away. Like right up front, just be like, I'm ready for a relationship, and that's it. I'll be out. That's how it is. They think like if you're dating at all, like
man.
you're gonna get married
Yeah, it's not
because
not
of the
too far off.
intercourses. You don't. If you get married before the intercourse, then it's not a sin. But if you have the intercourse first, then it is sinful. So they are avoiding the sin by getting into a lifetime of commitment of marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the thought behind it all.
Right, but then it's
Kind of
also
backwards, but
yeah. And I wonder what the marriage success rate is.
Well, I don't know because there have been that like 50% stat.
Yeah.
But that 50% stat was actually made up by the church to make people feel guilty. It was
Really?
actually like way less.
Oh, really?
I think. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but
Wow.
it
I
like
don't
came
know.
out a couple years ago that stat was just made up
No way.
to make people feel bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That just blew my mind. Now I got to
Yeah.
find out what the actual stats are.
It might only be like 46 and nothing, but I don't know.
It's 46-54, not 50-50.
Yeah.
But
I'm not
yeah,
looking
that would be
forward to
interesting
it.
to look up later.
That's so funny. So I guess you didn't date in college.
No, I met my wife when I was in high school. So,
Holy smokes!
Good for
And
you.
that's great. I'm
was the
like
first
railing
one
on
you
the guys
talked
getting
to.
married in college. They got married in their sophomore year in high school.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
man.
When you guys met in high school?
Yeah, so we went on our first date when right after I turned 16.
Wow,
Like
okay.
when I got a car. So,
Yeah.
Nice. Good
So
for you.
first thing you get a car. First thing you're doing, I'm like, I'm getting a chick.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you guys do? What was the first date?
I think we went to go see Mission Impossible.
Oh, wow.
And then went to Dairy Queen.
That is a special
Ooh,
moment.
baller.
Yeah.
I think that's.
Man, wine and
I mean, I
dine.
had a job and everything, so
I don't know what you guys are thinking watching this, but I think if I got that on the first date, that'd be a keeper. So then, how long after the first date? How long after that point till you guys got married?
let's see. I got married when I think I was 20 when I got married.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty early, but I did go to a Bible college.
You knew what you wanted.
It
to
was
do.
kind of like on the
Well,
track
you know,
for
you
that.
know, you know.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like me. I mean, it took me lots before I
Yeah.
found the one. You know.
I think it's better to wait like for the right one. I feel like a lot of people they literally
You talking about
like
wait for marriage or other
yeah,
stuff?
like wait till you meet the right person.
definitely.
I see so many people they just get married out of convenience. They're like in
Yeah.
a relationship that's going horribly south, and they're like, well, we might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
And
way.
yeah,
Because
That's
that
not
dude's
a fix
forever.
for anything.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Hey, our house is on fire. Well, might as well live in it. We're already here.
Yeah. No. Yeah, if I'm gonna be committed to one woman for the rest of my life, she better be amazing. She better be worth it, and I better be sure, which
Right.
I am now. You know.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Well, check this out. That is our time tonight. I want to thank everybody here for coming down and being on our very first video cast. So yeah, thanks for joining us. We will see you next week. I hope you guys have an awesome one. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And that's it. Have a good one, guys.